So, good evening. Thanks for coming. I am Natassa from Athens. I have invented for myself the title of a sociocultural engineer. My background is in structural engineering, restoration of monuments, and then it was in 2015, during a fellowship in cultural management, that I downloaded somehow the idea of communitism. The idea is inspired by a neighborhood called Natassa, which is like the diamond-shaped of lighter color neighborhood up there. It is in the north of the Parthenon, within the historical center. It's an ex-industrial neighborhood, which until the, I would say, mid-2000s was extremely abandoned and dangerous and dark. And being in that area, it featured in 2016, 163 abandoned cultural heritage buildings. This neighborhood, by the beginning of the 2010s, started getting revived by an amazing community of bohemians who landed there. They were well-traveled, well-educated, yet had chosen to be in the Athens of the crisis, really, in its darkest period, because they believed in actually crisis, the opportunities that it can create, and even creating new meanings, the opportunity of creating new meanings on that basis of neglect and abandonment. So this is, as I'm writing here, in 2016, the neighborhood of Natassa had 163 abandoned buildings. There's a mistake in there. And Athens in total has 11,300 abandoned cultural heritage buildings. This building does not exist anymore, and this is an issue. This is a neighborhood of 60 blocks, more or less, which means at least 3 abandoned buildings per block, and not even big blocks. You know, like each block might have 8 buildings or something. So the project featured the idea that the building owners could benefit by us, the creative professionals, using them for free in exchange of the maintenance. We were super lucky to be granted a building of 1,200 square meters in the neighborhood, which, here's the floor plan, had an amazing, ideal floor plan for community development, because it had around, I would say, 12 independent spaces. And here you can see how on the ground floor it had Plenum was an incubator, Zoristyrio was a free shop, Keramo was a ceramic workshop, Kino was Kino, but also event space, venue, let's say, a gallery space. The courtyard was facilitating all our events during summer. And then in the upper floor, we had a higher sense was a contemporary sculpture workshop. Butterflies and Camels was a fabric repurposing workshop. Our headquarters were there, a library that we had made, residency spaces. So at least 2 people used to live there. And during COVID, it was 5. We called them residency, but in fact, they were solidarity mechanism, where this was artists or refugees. It was people from our community that we were supporting. So all of that system was driven by necessity, really, and the crisis itself, be it the economic crisis of Greece, be it the refugee crisis. It had gathered be it queer communities that had not safe spaces around the city. And each of these spaces was run by a different community, and we were all together coordinating around it. We lived some very nice, happy, creative years for 6 years there. We had to leave last June in 2023. And now we are in a new space. That's our most recent crisis, let's say our internal one. We are in a new space called Koukouli. It is roughly the 20% of square meters of the other one. Happily, kind of like a similar typology, so we can still play this circular ideal that our logo is based on. We are building a new strategy on collective ownership. We really believe that as Athens, here is Koukouli, some images. So it is the 2 shops at the entrance of a building and the backyard, and then basements and mezzanines, where we're still keeping, let's say, the fingerprint of our uses and functions of the previous building. And we are treating the space as, this time, Koukouli means cocoon. So it's, the space where we are meant to gather again, heal from the process of uprooting, really. And this time, redirect the attention of all of our audience and communities into actually claiming a space in Athens. This is part of our campaign that we are beginning, stating that, we need to take care of the city. When we feel that as people, like the situation of the buildings reflects the condition that we are experiencing in Athens as people, and we envision a city that we can take care of each other and the buildings themselves. This is not me, so I guess I'm done.